we can talk about how amazing Trace is for coach education, for parent education, for teaching our methodology, for individual player development plans. But the bottom line is when you get kids totally engaged, loving to watch themselves play and watch their team play and be able to show up at a training session and immediately start talking about the game moments from the weekend. I mean, we've won. Like, that's for me, like, there's really nothing else to it.
Being a Force player is challenging because we are demanding a lot from our players. We're also asking them to play simple all the time. And a great quote by Johan Cruyff is that, soccer is a simple game, which is very difficult to play simply. So we are challenging our players to continue to play within the methodology, to continue to play simple, but also be very, very flexible.
Prior to Trace, you either as a coach were part of a team that had a parent who was into video, or you may be part of a team that didn't really have a resource for that. It wasn't, I would say, accessible, of course, to all players, all coaches, all parents.
What I was struggling with without Trace, with the previous software we were using, is that it was very team orientated, but it wasn't individually based. When you're watching 22 players or 11 players play, you might get distracted by the run somebody makes. You might get distracted by the touch somebody takes. When you have an individualized camera that's tracking your movements, now it's you all the time. And actually, it's enlightening for a lot of the players because when you show them, they're always, the biggest reaction I get is, "Oh, wow, coach, I didn't know that."
There's a moment in the game where I had a faulty pass and we kind of talked about it in the game. We went out a little bit. And then the next day, I brought it to him and we kind of went over it and I showed him like what I was trying to do. He told me what I should do. And then we both agreed.
I think that it really takes away the complexity of this beautiful game, which has thousands and thousands of different decisions for our players. And it really hones in on that one specific player.
I definitely feel like the Force coaches mainly focus on like how we can be good individually. And I feel like it comes down to the players who really make the team the team.
One of our pillars in our development methodology is for, our boys and girls to understand that they are the most important influencers in their own development.
During the week, I'll review my footage and see what I did well, see what I didn't do well. Like if people are getting by me easy, like how can I position myself better on the field? If I'm in a time crunch, it's really helpful to be able to watch the highlights because it doesn't take that long, like 5 minutes to watch your highlights. But then if I have a lot of time on my hands, I like to really watch the whole game to really understand like the space and where everything is.
With the Trace being so individual where you can take on a player's name, we are able to create individual development plans and track progress of players based on what we're getting back from the Trace video.
I feel like I have really good passing. So it helps me to really see like the lanes that I should be passing in and when I should switch the ball to the other side of the field, when I should keep it on one side.
One thing that as a parent that I was particularly impressed with is just the foundational strategic approach they have on development. It starts with their philosophy and every year the kids learn and they just build upon that.
Trace really helps us communicate with the parents at times.
For parents, it's easy. We just have one child that we're focusing on. For a coach, he has 17 players on the team that he's focusing on. So if you can take the video and say, can I sit down and review this with you? I want to see how I can do this better. It's a great opportunity to connect with the coach.
For a parent to have that level of understanding about what's expected of their player in our style and our methodology, it's just a really positive thing for the club, for the parents, the players, the coaches.
My team manager will upload the Trace footage on a Sunday night. On Monday morning, I wake up by 8 a.m. I'm watching the film on Trace.
As a parent, we probably watch the highlights in the game more than Matthew because he goes to school, whereas we'll be home and we'll have some time between meetings to take a peek at things.
It's something that now I know is ingrained in Anza. We cannot take it away because they want it.
It's mom goals, right? It's like mom being able to be proud mom moments, share that with family members who may not be able to come see Dominic on a regular basis.
I'd like to see Dominic in action. I'd like to see how he interacts. So it's mainly about Dominic centric and how he interacts with the team and how he plays the game.
It's such an easy tool to use. They can, send, click, and they feel connected. And grandparents' moments, right? They also get bragging rights.
Our development methodology, it takes time, right? And so we want to keep the kids engaged in, of course, soccer, but also engaged in our club and what we're doing. I think that if you got a young player that you can plant the seeds in of, really caring about their development for themselves, it's really good for the future for sure.
When he was younger, what we would do is when we would go through the highlight, I would pause it and I would say, who are your options? Like before he received the ball, who are your options? And then sometimes when he was receiving the ball, he wasn't checking his shoulder. So it's like, okay, like you don't know your options because you don't know what's behind you, and just creating like a habit of that.
One of the things that I think we've noticed with the younger teams is that it's just a really fun thing for the kids and the parents to be able to just share game clips.
All my goals, definitely. When I get a nice little clip of me dribbling or even nice through ball and pass, but I got to get the goals too.
It's not necessarily so much about individual development plans and granular details with the little ones. What our coaches are able to do is, have just video review with the team, get on Zoom, make it a little fun team bonding event, and maybe show 2 or 3 clips to them on things they want to improve for the next week. And at the same time, which is really important with the young ones, is showing them the things they are doing well. Because, for them, it's still about falling in love with the game. And I think that, Trace definitely has a positive impact on that.